When you think of a skeleton, what comes to mind? Probably that plastic model from science class, right? Well, today we're going to look past that and explore the incredible living architecture that's inside every single one of us, our bones. So what if I told you that the very framework holding you up right now wasn't just some rigid, static structure? What if it's a constantly changing, totally alive system? Because guess what? That's exactly what it is. Yeah, forget that image of dry, dusty fossils. The bones inside your body are more like a bustling city of cells. They're active organs, always remodeling themselves, healing, and adapting to your life. In fact, this process is so active that your entire skeleton pretty much replaces itself every 10 years or so. How wild is that? And the adult human body is this absolute masterpiece made up of 206 of these individual living bones. Every single one has a specific job, a specific shape, and its own unique story. Okay, so to really understand our own internal blueprint, we have to start with the absolute basics. What exactly is a bone anyway? The two most important words you're going to see here are living organ. Seriously, a bone isn't just a chunk of calcium. It's this incredibly complex organ made of living cells, packed with blood vessels and nerves, and it provides the essential structure and support for your entire body. And their job description? Oh, it's huge. They are so much more than just scaffolding. Bones protect our most vital organs, like our brain and heart. They act as anchors for our muscles so we can move. They're a storage bank for critical minerals, and this is my favorite part, they're actually the factory where our blood cells are made. All right, now for the fun part. Not all 206 of those bones are created equal. Their shape is directly tied to what they do. So let's kick off our tour with the body's powerful levers and its sturdy stabilizers. So on one hand, you've got long bones, like the femur in your leg. These guys are the body's heavy-duty levers, allowing for big, sweeping movements and supporting all our weight. Then, on the other hand, you have short bones, like the little carpals in your wrist. They're kind of cube-shaped, and their whole job is to provide stability for all those fine, complex movements. It's this amazing trade-off, pure power versus delicate precision. Okay, next up on the tour, let's talk about the body's protective shields and its highly specialized multi-tools. Flat bones, like your sternum or your ribs, are generally thin and curved. You can think of them as your own personal body armor, shielding your most important organs. And then you have the irregular bones, things like the vertebrae in your spine. Their shapes are super complex because they have to do multiple jobs at once, like protecting your spinal cord while also giving you the flexibility to bend and twist. They really are the true multi-tools of the skeleton. So, we've got these 4 different designs: levers, stabilizers, shields, and multi-tools. But look, this isn't just some random biology lesson. Knowing these shapes actually has huge, real-world consequences. So let's just boil it down real quick. Here's the core idea in a nutshell. You've got 4 distinct shapes, and they map to 4 distinct functions. Long bones are your levers, short bones are your stabilizers, flat bones are your shields, and irregular bones are your multi-tools. It's a simple framework, but it's incredibly powerful. And here is the punchline. This is why it matters. When a doctor looks at an X-ray of a broken bone, they're not just seeing a crack. First, they identify the bone. Then they classify its shape. And based on that classification, is it a long bone built for weight-bearing or a flat bone that protects an organ, they can predict how it's going to heal and figure out the absolute best way to treat it. This knowledge is fundamental to modern medicine. You know, this all brings us to a much bigger, more profound idea. Our bones are so much more than just a mechanical framework. They are, in a very real sense, a living record of our lives. Think about it. From the growth plates that marked your childhood to the tiny healed fractures that tell the story of a fall, your skeleton carries your personal history. It's a dynamic blueprint, and it's constantly being rewritten by your life. So the next time you think about your skeleton, don't just picture a static frame. Think of it as your own living personal story. And ask yourself, what story are your bones telling right now?